Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. So today, we're diving into a deeply human challenge, one that, let's face it, is going to touch all of us eventually. We're talking about how to navigate the massive emotional and logistical heavy lifting of grief. But more specifically, we're looking at how modern tools are stepping up to help geographically scattered families and friends bridge both distance and time, giving everybody a shared space to remember together. We're zooming in on our platform called Virtual Obits, which is literally reimagining how we preserve and share our life stories.
Okay, let's dive into this with a quote that really anchors everything we're talking about today. Your loved one's story isn't just a memory, it's a legacy. When a loved one passes, families are instantly hit with this monumental task, right? You want to honor them beautifully. You want to capture the absolute essence of who they were. But in our modern world, we're often scattered thousands of miles apart. Trying to collaborate, gather those precious memories, and actually write a cohesive tribute while you're under the crushing weight of grief, it's incredibly tough. It's a very modern problem that really demands a thoughtful modern solution, just to make sure a beautiful life story doesn't get lost in the sheer chaos of planning a service.
So, that brings us to Section 1, Bridging the Blank Page, Frictionless Storytelling.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Take a look at this beautifully formatted, deeply dignified obituary for a young boy named Robert James Smith. It reads with such incredible warmth and empathy, right down to capturing his love for comic books and his really bright spirit. But here's the kicker. This wasn't painstakingly drafted from scratch over hours and hours by an overwhelmed grieving parent. It was actually generated using an AI model called Gemini 3 Flash. What we're seeing here is genuine narrative excellence. It doesn't read like robotic text at all. It feels like a loving human tribute. Virtual Obits has fine-tuned this text specifically for memorial content, making sure it nails the right tone, whether you want celebratory, formal, or traditional, completely removing that paralyzing fear of staring down a blank page.
So how does that kind of magic actually happen? Well, it happens through a super compassionate, structured workflow. Step 1 is the magic start. And what's absolutely brilliant about this is that it lets someone who is just totally cognitively depleted just drop raw, unstructured notes, scattered memories, or even just bullet points right into the app. The system automatically pulls out the important details. Then, Step 2 is the guided memorial wizard. This is a gentle 8-step process that walks you through gathering family history and service info. After that, Step 3 is where the AI generation steps in, instantly drafting up obituaries, poems, and tributes. And finally, Step 4 is the dynamic dashboard, where families can edit the text in real time while looking at an instant live preview. So what used to take days of agonizing drafting, it now turns raw grief into a polished tribute in less than 5 minutes.
Moving right along to Section 2, Bridging Space, the digital gathering.
When you really stop and think about the limitations of how we used to do things, the contrast is pretty wild. Think about traditional printed funeral programs. They're static, they're fragile, they get shoved into purses, stained with coffee, and eventually they just get lost over the decades. Plus, their reach is literally limited to the people physically sitting in the pews. But look at the Virtual Obits approach, what they call living documents. These are totally dynamic. They're cloud-hosted, which means they are always accessible on your phone or tablet. Spot a typo? No problem. You can fix it with a real-time update. And crucially, they have a global reach. This means a relative sitting in London can instantly participate in a memorial that's happening in Chicago. It really bridges that gap.
To really see that in action, check out this interactive digital flipbook dashboard. Once the memorial is generated, it gets published as this gorgeous interactive flipbook. Notice the easy share links right there for Facebook, X, and WhatsApp. Literally, one click and an automated announcement goes out. What this means is that a whole global network of friends, colleagues, and far-flung relatives can view the program, read the life story, and swipe through up to 20 organized photos. They get to experience the memorial together instantly, no matter where they are on the planet. It carves out this incredibly meaningful shared digital space for mourning and celebration.
Next up is Section 3, Bridging Time, the Fidgetital anchor.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the physical world. Notice how these QR codes act as a literal bridge. This is what we call the Fidgetital intersection, where physical touchpoints meet a digital legacy. You see, Virtual Obits isn't abandoning the physical world, it's actually enhancing it. These QR codes can be printed directly onto really beautiful high-res memorial cards or even traditional PDF programs. Guests can pick up a card, scan it with their smartphone, and boom, they're instantly transported to that living digital flipbook we were just looking at. It ties this tangible object you can actually hold in your hand to a rich, infinite digital story.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can map those deep emotional benefits straight back to some seriously impressive technical foundations. Take that incredible creation speed that's saving families hours of agonizing work. That's powered directly by the Gemini 3 Flash AI. The durability of the legacy, which ensures the memory is never lost or water damaged, that's all thanks to secure cloud hosting and state persistence. What about making updates after you've already distributed the link? That's handled by a lightning-fast real-time dashboard. And that physical link we talked about, the one boasting a 50 to 100-year outdoor lifespan, that is achieved using industrial-grade AISI 316L stainless steel.
Which brings us to the ultimate bridge across time, the eternal QR plate. Guys, this is a 3-inch by 3-inch plate made out of actual marine-grade stainless steel. It is acid, saltwater, and high-temperature resistant, custom designed to be laser engraved and affixed straight onto a physical headstone. Just think about the profound impact of this hardware for a second. 50 or 100 years from now, a great-grandchild could visit a cemetery, scan this permanent steel plate with whatever device we have then, and instantly pull up their ancestor's life story, full-color photos, and personal tributes. It completely transforms a static stone monument into this living, interactive gateway to a family's history. And finally, Section 4, a lasting, shared legacy, engineering digital dignity.
So the crucial point is that when you're dealing with something as sacred as a family's legacy, trust and reliability are literally everything. Just look at these numbers. Over 10,000 families have already been served by this platform. They operate with a 99.9% uptime reliability, making absolutely sure these digital memorials are there the exact second family members need them. They've slashed the average creation time to under 5 minutes, but honestly, perhaps the most important thing here is that last bullet point: data sovereignty. This means families actually maintain ownership of their stories. It's a core ethical commitment to making sure these digital monuments are protected, secure, and preserved exactly how the family intended, completely free from the risk of digital obsolescence.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. How do you want your own family's history to be preserved for the next century? Will it be scattered in dusty cardboard boxes and fragile paper? Or will it be beautifully engineered, digitally dignified, and instantly accessible to every single generation that follows? The tools to bridge distance and time are literally here today, just waiting to help us tell the stories that matter most. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating intersection of technology and legacy with me, and I highly encourage you to take a moment and think about what your own digital footprint will leave behind. Catch you next time.